this is something that I've been meaning to talk about because this is an announcement that I know I'm most excited for out of anyone, but we at least need to talk about it briefly because there was an announcement from Toys Era who recently showed their Ellie and Joel figures from The Last of Us, which they have titled The Last Father and The Last Hope. I've been meaning to make a video about this, but today I wasn't able to take a lunch break because we were short staffed. And the previous day I couldn't take a lunch, I couldn't film the video because Comcast decided to knock out my internet. So it was not fun. So that said, I want to address it now, and maybe I'll still do a video. But this Toys Era Ellie from The Last of Us. So you can actually get this figure on 1/6 kit. And the reason I bring that up is because I have a code on there. I put it in my community. I'll put it in the chat for people who want it. It's $10 off. So this Ellie is like $170 shipped, right? I want to ask the question, Gigo. Is this figure good enough to commit to? Because we know for a fact that Mars Toys is coming eventually. Well, at least with Joel, but I'm assuming for Ellie, why would you make one but not the other? So I'm assuming they're probably going to make that. Lim Toys is going to make the game versions. Who else is maybe going to make these? Maybe CC Toys. That one didn't look too hot, right? But I do feel like this is pretty strong. This is a pretty strong figure. Kiko, is this good enough to commit to it? Maybe like $170 shipped.
You're going to actually get me on this one, and I'm going to say yes, Will,
Okay.
because I think she is unique enough to where, and she also fits the profile to where it's a different, it's not homeboy in a flannel shirt or in a jean jacket sitting on your shelf. This is a little bit different. You have a smaller female child type of thing to where you can tell a story visually with this part on your shelf. And I think this looks very, very similar to the actress. And I think they did a lot better with this than even the updated Pedro. The Pedro one to me still looks odd. I think they still got a long way to go. But yeah, I think this is one you want to get. I think most people will know. I think she's distinguishable enough to where people know who this is.
Yeah, that's understandable. I do think this is pretty good, though. I do think this is a pretty solid head sculpt. It's not perfect, but it's pretty solid. And for the price, I guess we'll see if Mars Toys can do better. But yeah, what do you think, Marco? I can't remember if you're a fan of the show. Are you a fan of the show?
I really enjoyed the show. I'm a huge fan of the game, though. Like that
Right.
is probably my favorite game of all time. I think this looks just like her. I think they really killed this sculpt, and I think everything about the figure looks great. It could almost act as a representation for the game and the film if you wanted to, because it really captures the spirit of Ellie, in my opinion. I just don't love that Pedro still. I think that one's still a little bit suspect. They've given some updates, but yeah, it's just he's not quite right. I would say wait because, like you mentioned, there's a bunch of companies doing this. Those are just the ones that we know about. Who knows if a licensed company is going to do these as well? So if you jump at the opportunity to spend 170 on this, and then a better option comes around, at the very least you're going to be eating that NRD. And I think it's just too early in the game to commit to anything, knowing how popular the show was, knowing that there's so many companies kind of trying to get these out. Definitely don't go for the first option here. But that's not taking anything away from the figure because, again, I think it looks really, really nice. So I'm tempted, but got to wait and see. I think those Lim Toys ones are going to be the ones I ultimately go for, though, because I really want the game representation. I think that's still where my heart is, honestly.
Right. And that's understandable. I think for a lot of people that's going to be the case. But for me as a diehard, I need both. I'm gonna get both. Me and Optical and some others for sure. But
Of
I
course.
think this personally looks really good. So I think this looks like Bella Ramsey to me. And I've heard some people say like the closer up you get, the rougher it gets. I don't know. I mean, Bella Ramsey has an interesting sort of facial structure, I guess I would say. So, and I feel like Toys R Us have captured that pretty effectively. So it's certainly not perfect, but it's pretty good. They got to fix
That's
the
her right
hands
there.
here.
Shoot.
Yeah, because it's not really holding the gun effectively.
Hmm.
So yeah, they're gonna have to fix it. And the tailoring definitely needs work. It needs work, Marco. The both Joe and Ellie, the coats are a little bit too long, the sleeves. So yeah, I'm really, really tempted by these because with third party, we know, Marco, you can't really mess around. Like you don't like these might not be around forever, right? So they might
You're
just kind
right.
of be gone.
You're
So
right. You could be ending up at the bar. It's 2 a.m. and you're going for the last thing available. But I think in this
right.
scenario, there's going to be enough options that even if you miss out on this, but I guess it is good enough that if you're really really sold on getting one of these, then go ahead and
Right.
take the gamble. But yeah, I think there's just going to be better options in the future.
Yeah, understandable. Because Mars Toys come in. Lim Toys is the one I really want too, because it's video game version. But the show I
Exactly.
do want as well, because I'm a little bit crazy for Last of Us. So